This is a message from your guides reading for the girl who shakes things. Okay, so I have 5 crystals here. One of them is for everyone that I'm reading from Patreon, and these are the monthlies. I know this is the tail end of your weeklies since I gave you the 10-minute instead of the half-hour 1 week. So this would be the 20-minute reading, but even though this was along with the weeklies, I'm doing it with the monthlies, and I still feel like I want to show you what I pulled with all of the monthly readings for today. Okay, so this is Sowelu, and this rune, it represents the sun, and it has to do with a lot of different things, success. I do feel like I should mention that for your reading in particular. But for the group, with all of the readings, pretty much what it's been feeling like is Sowelu can also mean your connection to the divine and to your higher self, and channeling information down like that. For you, I also feel like this is representing your guides as well, your connection to your guides. I feel like that's increasing. Not only that, this feels past as well. I feel like this has increased somewhat. I feel like part of this is even actually because of some of the readings that you had, because it almost feels like you gained some confirmation where you were already feeling some guides that you didn't tell me about, and they ended up coming through during the readings, and you felt like almost like validation, like you are receiving the things that in like an accurate way. It feels like you're kind of polishing your abilities. But I also feel like that's kind of related to your self-esteem. And I feel like you need to just gain some confidence with your abilities. And I feel like that's going to happen over time. Once you start getting clients and you are giving the readings on a continuous basis, even here or there, obviously, when you're first starting out, you're going to definitely gain confidence. But once you really get consistent with it and you're getting feedback where you again can have validation of different things, that definitely increases and boosts your confidence level. I know you've already had some of that as well, for sure. I definitely feel like you give accurate readings. I can just feel that from you. Like you definitely, your abilities are definitely solid. They are definitely polished enough to where you could give a solid reading, an accurate reading. And I would say one thing coming through is that, again, the level of time that you've done the reading. So since you are able to give an accurate reading, sometimes it's not really going to be you're inaccurate per se. Okay, there might be, like, for instance, now I never ever get an email like suggesting that something is off. Honestly, I definitely acknowledge that that could happen. And that's why I really, really attempt to stay on point with things. Because obviously I know that that could happen. But like I used to get certain things. It wasn't even that it was inaccurate. It would happen once in a while, but it would be like someone saying, it would help me tweak my readings a little bit, because I would realize, oh, this is what this actually meant, kind of thing. So it's almost like you're going to get really used to how your guides communicate with you, what different pictures mean. Now, obviously, I'm not only communicating with my guides when I'm doing a reading. I'm communicating with guides in general. But you're going to kind of get used to the way that this works. Like with me, usually it was things like time, because that's kind of a general thing. Sometimes that still kind of comes up in a reading with me. But now I can kind of work around that a little bit easier, or I can even say to the person, you know, this could be a little bit past, this could be present now, it could be either one. Sometimes it will feel more definite, but like with time, it's happening simultaneously. Even though it seems linear, even in a scientific way, we know even from science now that it's only appearing to happen linearly, right? So all time is simultaneous. And so sometimes you can pick up on future and it can feel like it already happened, for instance. So those were some of the types of things that I would deal with before when I was getting used to energies and reading. Or like a young person, if they're an old soul, and you don't have their picture up necessarily, it's like someone, it's like they're coming up because they're in someone's life that you are reading. They might feel like they are older if they're an old soul, for instance, right? So in other words, what your guides are saying, it's not, they're saying inaccuracies. What they're saying is you're just going to really develop your understanding of your gifts and your abilities. In other words, over time, as you're just doing it, and your confidence will build, and you'll just kind of know what's what. Okay, they're sending me an energy like this, and I need to interpret it this way. In other words, so it's more the interpretations that you have to get really secure with and sound with. It's not really ever the accuracy I feel with you. And I just feel from them like that's going to happen over time, because I feel like the gift is really there. I don't really feel like you're someone who needs classes or anything to speed up the process like that, where you need your abilities to almost show more. Or you need someone to help you bring those out more. I don't feel that. I feel like your gifts are very much there and very much intact. Okay, so they're going into this, the crown chakra block that you asked about, that I completely forgot about, even though I have this question sitting right here. Okay, so basically they're saying that if the gift is really intact and they're giving you kind of some pointers, just saying like the interpretation, you're going to figure that out as you go along, blah, blah, blah. If it's not about that, then what is this block about? Basically is what they're saying. Okay, so this is not having to do with reading other people. That makes total sense. They're saying that this has to do with like your personal understanding for yourself, your own life, and when it comes to them communicating to you, or even you communicating your own intuition to yourself, like Suelu was talking about your higher self, or your reality. Communicating messages to you. So this is like what you feel to do, even without your guide sending you something, just what do you feel to do? And it feels like that can be kind of off sometimes. That's pretty normal. People tend to have blocks when it comes to receiving things for themselves, even more than with other people. Like even if they think that they don't. If you're very attached to something, which you are in your own lifetime, it can be very difficult with certain things to get this kind of eagle's eye view on it. Whereas somebody else that you don't know, they might send you the most vague question, and then you don't have anything to go by. And so all you can do is just sit there and just be open to receiving whatever it is that their guides have to say and spit it out, right? You don't have any attachment to it. So the only thing hindering you might be your attachment to like your own fear or self-doubt type of thing. But not an attachment to the situation for the other person. Unless maybe they give you a lot of detail about it. This is why I never ask for detail. Actually, that doesn't even affect me anymore. I'll still get anything. The reason now that I mostly don't ask for details from people is because I want them to actually receive validation or confirmation that the information was accurate. Whereas if they're telling me all of these, freaking details about it, then if I say some of those details, then it just seems like I read it in the email. So it can't ring true for the person as much, I feel like. But they're saying that attachment in your own life kind of gets in the way sometimes when it comes to them speaking to you. They're also saying that sometimes you're going to make a wrong decision because everybody does that, and that's part of the learning process, and that's completely fine. But they're also saying to take responsibility for it, and realize that what it comes down to is that you need to detach from emotional stresses and kind of detach from your life in a sense, and the emotions that kind of entangle you when it comes to your vision of what you want to do and where you want to be and how you want to move forward or how you can move forward. Okay, did I show you the crystals? I don't think that I did. Okay, I'm pretty sure I showed you the rune and the card. I think so. Okay, so the other thing that I had for the group, did I show you this? I don't know if I showed you this one. So this is the Piper, and he has to do with following your heart. Yeah, I said that. Okay, so this is my Shatakite. Actually, I don't know if I did say that. Okay, following your heart, listening to your intuition and where your heart pulls you is what the Piper has to do with. Okay, so this is my Shatakite. This has to do with healing, specifically through earth energies and being grounded. So being financially supported can be a type of healing. Also, it has to do with your third eye, things like that. So there's also that balance there. I'm going to go through these others really quick so you know that what I pulled, because I'm a little over the time limit, as usual. So this is my Malachite, grounding, again, protection, your psychic energies. This is Zoazite. This has to do with, obviously, your heart chakra, just because of the color. It has to do with new beginnings. It can have to do with grounding, new beginnings, just because, look at this thing. It looks like a dino egg, kind of, with those spots on it. So also releasing old things is something that comes to mind, just because of the look of it, like I said. And then it has to do with trusting yourself, trusting the universe. Then I have here my Fuchsite. And this has to do with receiving information for healing. What needs to be healed. Also past life information coming through, how to heal that. And then lastly, so you have 3 green crystals here. Then I have the Tektite, which is the one that kind of stands out there, the black Tektite. So that has to do with deflecting negative energies. Also, it's really good at absorbing energies from others so that you aren't doing that so much. So that is all that your guides have to say for this reading. Thank you so much for another one. I truly hope that it benefits you. And I have one more 10-minute reading coming up for you soon. Namaste.